like to ask if you could share us a story about Vince Papali.
Vincent? Oh yeah, easy. I see him all the time. I was just with him. He took me to his country club, Mount Laurel Country Club, last week, and got me an appointment there. And I sold him our wines to get on their menu over there. Okay. But you know, Vince. Everyone knows Vince as Invincible. But he came to the old JFK Stadium across from the old vet for a Saturday tryout with about 125 other people, and hadn't played college football. He played a little semi-pro football, played high school football. He went to St. Joe, so they didn't even have a football team. He was on the track team. He was a very good athlete. And at the end of the day, he was the fastest kid there. Now, you got a white Italian kid in a tryout camp, it's the fastest guy. It's a pretty good idea. He might be an athlete. So we signed him. He would have paid us. He would have paid us. Went and brought him to training camp. And they had another special teams wide receiver here on the roster, similar kid that had played college ball and was here, and he'd been successful in special teams. And I decided to keep Vince because, first off, he was a home product. He was 30 years old. That's why they ended up making the movie. He's the oldest rookie to ever make an NFL football team. And then they researched the story and found out he didn't even play college football. And in fact, I read the script to the movie. True story. The guys from Disney sent me the script. I read the script flying from Kansas City to play the Raiders. Okay? I read it, and I got home, I called the guy, and I said, listen, there's a lot of things in this script that aren't true. And he said, Coach, we aren't making a documentary. We're telling a story. As you guys know, remember our training camps here. The guy didn't leave training camp at 11 o'clock at night and go play sandlot football in a bar in South Florida, you know. But that made it an interesting story. But the story was true. And Vince has done very, very well. Vince made $150,000 on the movie. By the time he played his agent and his lawyer, he got about half of it. Where he's made his money as a speaker, he's made a lot of money. He is still speaking, traveling. I mean, he'll 4 or 5 times a week, and that's slowed down, but he's done awfully well. And in fact, his son is a redshirt freshman at Delaware, wide receiver. Yeah. Anyway, he's a great kid. His wife was a dynamic lady, and the wife in the movie now is not the same one. Okay? But anyway, he upgraded his act, I'll tell you that. Vince is a great guy. That's Vince Papali. You would love it. You would love it. Yes, sir.
Coach, let me ask you about another player, maybe whose name might be on a lot of tongues here for your evaluation, Carson Wentz.
I like him. I like him. I'm a little bit worried that we're enshrining him. You know, the standard of expectation for this poor kid, it's going to really be tough to meet him. You know, I mean, they have him way up there. I like everything he does, but I don't know if he's a great passer. And I think he's going to have to improve that as he plays. Right now, he doesn't throw the ball downfield real well, not real accurately. He can throw it through a car wash without getting the ball wet. But hit a receiver running 40 yards downfield where it has to be. No, he needs to improve that. And you can improve it. You really can. Jaworski was that way when he started. Strong arm, all that. There's a lot more to being a great passer than a strong arm. But what I like about him is his character. You know, I've never coached a kid out of Montana or the Dakotas. That wasn't a great kid to coach. They think differently. Well, the great example, when they had their bye, where'd he go? He went hunting. You know, I'm a hunter, so I respect that, all right? But he didn't go to Hollywood. He didn't go to Las Vegas for the strip joints, you know. He went hunting and got himself dirty and did things right and come back to get ready to play football again. I like the way he thinks. I like the way he thinks, and he's tough. He's very, very bright. Very, very bright. So I'm hoping he can meet the expectation and build it that they're doing for him. Because after the first 4 games last year, he was a very average passer. Very average. And that's a little scary. Not scary, but that shows you there's an area. If he's going to be put in the upper echelon, then he's got a ways to go. But the Philadelphia media, WIPs, and all these, they already have him there. And that could be tough on him early. I just hope he starts out great. But I really like him as a person. I think he can be just a great leader for our whole community. Great values. Any other question? Yes, sir.
Coach, I know you had the opportunity to coach some great quarterbacks. My question is, who would you rate as your top three, and what was the most special about each one?
Well, the best quarterback was Kurt Warner. Okay, biggest surprise in the history of the National Football League. Okay, nobody's ever done what he did. Nobody has ever done what he did. Played 16 plays the year before, and the next year is the NFL Player of the League year. No one's ever done with 102 quarterback efficiency rating. First year in the league. To me, he's a Navy SEAL. You never know who's going to be that kind of guy. He wasn't that kind of guy because no one gave him the opportunity when he was mature enough to handle it. He went to the Green Bay Packers as a free agent, didn't make it. And they said he was even nervous in the huddle at that time. Then he goes to the Arena League. But Kurt Warner goes in the Hall of Fame, Hawk, sir. He'll be there. He goes in the NFL Hall of Fame. To go from the Arena League, I sent him to Europe and play in the NFL Europe for 10 games. Then he came to us to do what he has done. Has never been done before. It will never be done again. Because no one gives those kinds of kids a chance anymore, because now they have roster limits on everything. Eagles here at Westchester, kid thought he could play. I'll give you a tryout. Come on out, we'll work out. 120, 130 kids. Can't do that anymore. It's all restricted. But he's an outstanding human being, a great Christian. He's a great leader. He's unbelievable. Gives a lot of money away. Does a lot of the right things. So, but he's the number one. I think my second best quarterback was probably Jaworski. And he was a lot of it self-made, hard work, right out here. Hard work, tough. And in those days, we didn't give the quarterback the opportunity to look as good as it could be, because we ran the ball 40-something times a game. You were chicken if you threw the ball over 25. But aren't you tough? That kind of thing. Today, it's a much more sophisticated game. And I learned that when I came back in after 14 years out and went to the Rams. The game had changed. The players were bigger and faster. And the players were a little further along by the time you got them. And I found the players to be, as a large group, smarter. More of them had already finished their education. And a lot of them had got all the way to their senior year and that kind of stuff. Then Trent Green is the equivalent. We could have won the Super Bowl with Trent Green. And he's the guy, Kurt Warner, great player. No one knew he was a great player. So many young quarterbacks get put in situations where the process is not good enough for him to be what he has the ability to be. Everything we did on a practice, how long we stayed on a practice field was how long will it take to develop a quarterback. Oh, it's easy. It doesn't take as long to learn to play defensive line as it does quarterback. But everybody has to be on the field to help him become what he has the ability to be. Yep. So you got to stay out there. You got to do a lot of things, and that's what we did with all three of them. Jaworski was a side saddle, a Youngstown State quarterback that I traded for him. I sent Charlie Young, the All-Pro tight end, for straight across for him. I was an assistant coach of the Los Angeles Rams when they drafted him in the second round in Los Angeles. And I loved him. I loved his temperament, his enthusiasm, and he hadn't changed much today, his passion, and his strong arm. When I come here as head coach, I went after him. And there was a quarterback here that had already been pretty successful, Mike Barilla, but he wasn't my type. Nothing wrong with him. Wasn't my type. For me, he didn't fit. I knew Jaworski would fit. And it was a little tough at first. How the city is, but he was tough enough to handle. But those three guys, Marshall Falk was probably the finest overall athlete football player I ever coached. And I only had him 1 year, but I became a hell of a lot better offensive coach when he got in the huddle, I'll tell you that. He could do things you'd never seen anybody else do. And I once worked for a coach named Tommy Prothro. He was an old Tennessee guy, played for Nayland and all this kind of stuff. He was a great college football coach, and very bright. I mean, a world-class bridge player. Omar Sharif was his bridge player partner. I mean, this guy was a brilliant guy. And he always said to me, Coach, he had a little twang, he says, if it takes you a lot of time to evaluate how good that player is, he isn't good enough. And when they're obvious. Wilbert Montgomery was that way when we brought him here, a 6th-round pick. First time I saw him, I said, holy mackerel, where'd this kid come from? There just aren't many of them. But those were the outstanding players. Bill Berge was an outstanding player. The great thing about Bill Berge was he was the most expensive player on the team. They traded first round, what, 2 first rounds or something like that to get him. And he loved to practice. And he was intense. And he was a great guy to put up in front. Put up in front, we're gonna follow this guy. And we used to get in a fight almost every day. Usually with Stan Walters, our left tackle, but sometimes it was somebody else. But there was gonna be a fight on the practice field sometime during that day when Bill Berkey was probably gonna be in it. Just a wonderful guy. And then Frank LeMaster lines up inside it with him. Frank LeMaster was out here, you know. I'd see Frank all the time. These guys, well, there was such, you know, Harold Carmichael. Talk about quality. He was here. You know that Harold Carmichael in 1978, my third year, averaged 19.7 yards a reception. He's not in the NFL Hall of Fame. If a receiver did that today, they'd pay him $8 million, $9 million to play. He was making about $300,000, you know, which was a pretty good salary then. But we had a lot of real good football. Someone mentioned my Boy Scout golf tournament. We're 25 years this year. We moved Jaworski group buys Downingtown Country Club, so I moved the tournament to Downingtown Country Club. It's a sellout. We'll net probably 190,000 net. We've been doing that for a number of years now, and but a lot of these guys have made it a reunion. Jerry Sizemore comes here from Texas. Billy, Sizemore. I can't think of all the guys. It's become a reunion. I started feeding the night before the golf tournament all the guys that flew in, okay, at my house out here. The first time it was 18. The next time it was 22, and wife said, Dick, we can't do it here anymore. So we got 48 people for dinner this year, but we're not gonna do it at home. We're not doing it at home this year. I mean, it's growing, it's becoming a reunion, and then they play in the tournament the next day, and these celebrities, and some of them can't play football anymore. I mean, play golf, because you know, LeMaster's had knee, hip, 2 back operations and open heart surgery. Other than that, he's a healthy guy. and poor Bill has gotten awfully heavy, you know. And, but that was a great group of human, great kids. We have 18 of them put on my 80th birthday party for me. They live in the town. And needless to say, we had a great time. It was an unbelievable roast. I heard things I didn't know I did. I've taken a lot of time up there. One more question while I sit down. Yeah,
it's a 2-part question. First question is just what's your 30,000-foot perspective of the NFL now as business and as it's run?
Well, the game, my perspective of the NFL as it is today. First, we know how much money is involved today, but it's a great game. It really is. I'm a little concerned about the Players Association has total control of the preparation today. You could not do today in Philadelphia what I did here. No way. You could not do what I did in St. Louis today, because they control the practice, how much time you can be on the field, how many times you can wear the pads, how many times you can meet, how many times you can meet them in the off season. But they get a lot more money. But the owners gave up certain things that could eventually hurt the game, I think. And now, like I go to football practice, it looks like Dancing with the Stars. You know, it's a different thing. And you know, I'll get just a little. I'll give you my theory on football. People think football is a contact sport, right? It's a combat sport. It's you and me. 65 snaps a game. Everyone's competing in combat. And to prepare a person properly for that tempo on game day, you've got to work close to that tempo in preparation. They don't work like that anymore. They get close, but they're so concerned about everything. Yes, the concussion thing is good. It's a factor, you know, in the evaluation process. But, yeah, there are more kids getting concussions playing soccer than in the NFL. Now, maybe the NFL concussions are a little more severe, and I'm all for solving it. But now, all the legal aspects come. The doctor is afraid on the sideline to say it because he knows the media's up there watching him and what he's doing and how he's talking to the kid. Is he handling it properly? And I mean, there's so many other things. The game is faster There's more skilled athletes on the field at the same time, and they throw the ball. The game is more wide open, more wide open. And I worry about the development of the kids that are marginal players that could be real good players if you gave them the time. You know, there's no correlation between working less and getting better in almost anything in life. And they're trying to do that in the NFL. And I don't like it. I wouldn't like it as a coach. I don't think, my style, that was not part of my process. I would probably not succeed in today's mechanics. You don't outsmart many people, but it's not too hard to outwork a lot of people. Ladies and gentlemen, one more.
Well, I had part B. Gotta know, what do you think the Eagles are gonna do this year?
I think the Eagles are gonna be a good football team. You know, first off, I live in this community, and I respect what those people do for a living, those Eagle people, the coaches and all that. And the head coach, he's been out to my house for dinner since he's been here. With Vince Papale, they're old friends. They were neighbors in New Jersey when he was here as an assistant. I think they'll be a good football team. If I didn't think they would be a good football team, I would say I'm not too sure, but I think they'll be good. Yeah, I'm never, they have me on WIP on Friday mornings at 8 o'clock for 10 to 15 minutes all through the season. They can't get a critical word out of me. Because I'm not, I've been there. You can criticize anybody. Anyway, I think they're at least a 10-win team. A lot of that depends on your schedule and injuries. You lose a couple of key guys, it's tough to be as good as you were without them. Here's to Dick Yoder. God bless him.
Yeah.